Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00. This is my Lore and Theories video series. In this video, I take a closer look at the unknown vessel that crashed on Installation 04. Let's get started. In case you weren't aware, there was a vessel that crash-landed on Installation 04. I know, big shock, huh? At the time, 343 Guilty Spark could not identify the vessel to any known species and only remarked at noticing that the atmosphere escaping from the ship matched that of his installations nearly exactly. Well, today I'm going to shed some light on that vessel and its possible or even likely origin. To get straight to the point, I can't help but notice some striking similarities between the shape and features of that crashed vessel, as per 343 Guilty Spark's memory banks, and the shape and features of a particular class of ancient human vessel featured in the terminals of Halo 4. On screen, you can currently see a comparison of the two. I mean, look at it. The two designs are more than a close match. But if that is the case, why didn't 343 Guilty Spark recognise it as ancient human vessels, considering he himself is the composed essence of the ancient human Chakas? Well, at the close of the Human Covenant War, Master Chief managed to destroy 343 Guilty Spark. However, it has since been discovered that Spark was not completely destroyed. Between 2553 and 55, the UNSC detected a transmission from the ruins of Installation 00 and deployed UNSC Rubicon from Luna to conduct a further investigation. A remote contact team recovered an extremely damaged armature believed by the team to be the source of the signal picked up by the initial investigative group. The device was actually the broken, barely active remains of 343 Guilty Spark. After properly calibrating their AI translator, the human team began to interrogate Spark, hoping to gain insight into the ancient human-forerunner relations and the Didact. Spark, acknowledging the humans as the true Reclaimers, and claiming that his duty was to eventually testify to Reclaimers when given the opportunity, proceeded to describe the events that led to his former human self becoming a monitor. Over the course of this narrative, he constantly accessed the ship's information stores, breaching the firewalls without effort, much to the ONI team's dismay. As a result of the extensive damage he had sustained, Spark's memory was heavily splintered and barely functional. For example, he was unable to remember many of the preceding events, only learning of his recent interactions with humans after tapping into their records, and even then, assuming the monitor in question being a separate duplicate of himself. After Spark had finished that story, his robotic shell finally powered down and was jettisoned into space by order of the ONI team commander. Before this, however, he had successfully managed to upload his data stream into the ship's computers, disable its AI, and took full control of the vessel. Having come to the conclusion that the librarian was alive as a result of a long study and that he had need for that ship and its crew, Spark put them to sleep and set course to where he believed the librarian could be found. Even Spark makes reference to compartmentalization protocols to maintain security in case a monitor was ever captured by the Flood. Could part of this compartmentalization also include memories of their earlier selves and thus present the exact conditions needed for Spark to not recognize the ship as human? So, if it was a human vessel, we are now presented with a few possibilities that I will now explore. These possibilities are: 1. Humans survived the firing of the Halo array and began the process of reclamation of the Forerunner Empire, and one ship from this larger surviving populace of humans crashed upon Installation 04. 2. The only humans who survived the firing were aboard that vessel and crashed upon Installation 04, and they died during or shortly after the crash. 3. The vessel and or its occupants were not human, in which case, who were they? And 4. The vessel was empty and simply drifted to Installation 04. Well, the last one, while a little bit haunting, is not much fun to speculate on, so let's just set that one aside. Possibility of humans surviving the first firing of the Halo array has pretty interesting consequences to the upcoming Halo lore, in particular Halo Infinite. We know that a population of ancient humans were stored on Zeta Halo, and we know that Zeta Halo is the installation that we see in the Halo Infinite trailer. The implications that the ancient humans could still be there are pretty interesting to say the least, but the idea that ancient humans may have even managed to coordinate, helped in no small part by the genetic guidance of their implanted Gesh, and thus leave Zeta Halo, evidently quite soon after the first firing of the Halo array, is also very compelling. But then, if this is the case, where did all the humans go? Why have we not encountered evidence of ancient humanity throughout the galaxy? Likely because if they did manage to leave Zeta Halo, the numbers involved were likely very limited. If the only humans, or indeed the only sentient life that survived the Halo arrays, was the group that made it off of Zeta Halo, then they were ultimately doomed to travel a sterile galaxy. A galaxy with likely precious little food and likely no certainty of bastions to settle down and rebuild their culture. There was likely a period of complete silence and desolation across the galaxy immediately following the firing of the array, mainly due to the preceding plan being delayed to ensure the lingering effects of the halos had completely diminished, and the corpses left behind had completely broken down, helped by Forerunner technology to enable the thousands of worlds it affected to continue to be viable for life. Is it possible that these ancient humans left Zeta Halo and ventured into the galaxy at this exact moment, only to realise that they were completely alone? Perhaps they even died aboard the ship during transit, which then crashed upon the surface of Installation 04. The last possibility is that the ship and its occupants were not human, or indeed any other known species. This does, at least at face value, seem to be the explanation, but I have my doubts. If they were an unknown species, where did they come from? How did they survive the halo effects? If they didn't, how did they achieve space travel in such a short space of time after the firing of the array? What I think is most likely in this situation is that they may have been a species from outside the galaxy, perhaps from one of the dwarf galaxies orbiting the Milky Way. The species were likely very developed, but had not yet ventured across the gulf of space to the Milky Way. That is, until their species witnessed from a distance the firing of the halo array. The level of activity and the energy signals being emitted from the galaxy, drawing their attention and clearly demonstrating that something unnatural was taking place within the galaxy. As a curious spacefaring species, much like humans, they sent out a small contingent of ships to investigate. Upon arrival, they began scouring the galaxy for the origin points of the energy that they had witnessed. The one ship that crashed on Installation 04 was truly a short distance type craft and was searching for the halo, and as it approached, not only did 343 Guilty Spark block their communication signals, thereby meaning any other crafts nearby were not notified of the installation's location, but also may have caused secondary issues with their ship. The ship could even have been remote piloted by either an AI or some form of compound mind, and this signal was the causative effect that caused the ship to crash. The thing that bothers me the most in all this is that the ship was encased and isolated from the installation by 343 Guilty Spark, and Chief unfortunately didn't happen upon it during the campaign in Halo Combat Evolved. What's worse is that the Halo ring it crashed on was destroyed by Chief, and thus any record or even remains of the ship's existence was also destroyed. So why did 343 Industries put this ship into the lore? Why did they hint to it and dedicate a considerable section of the terminals to its existence, only to destroy it and not follow it up with any explanation? Are we to expect an explanation? Is it critical to future developments within the Halo universe? Or is it just a quiet footnote designed solely to imply a deeper existence of lore when there truly isn't any? I don't know, is the short answer. In Halo Combat Evolved there was so much mystery about the entire game. What the Halo was, who the Forerunners were, what the Flood were. The deeper you looked at the lore, the more mysteries were revealed. I spent truly hours upon hours just walking around the various levels and facilities in Halo Combat Evolved, just trying to make sense of exactly what the hell things were, why they were built, what their primary, secondary and tertiary functions are or were. So much mystery, and they added to this with the terminals, yet as time has gone on these mysteries have gotten fewer and further between. The mystery that made Halo so compelling has gradually retreated, and I miss it. I long for a return of mystery, and that's not to say that there aren't avenues that could be developed and explored to inject that mystery once more. This unknown ship is just such an avenue. But I despair that it has been left undeveloped and the mystery not carried or addressed. Bring back the mystery to Halo 343. We need it. I need it. Thanks for watching. Stick your comments down below and I look forward to what you have to say. If you're new to the channel and like lore theories and Halo technology being analysed at insane levels of details, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon so next time I put a video out you're told the second it hits the shelves. Also, if you really like the channel, consider popping over to Patreon and give whatever support you can over there. It massively helps me out and frees up more time for me to put into this Halo content and other Halo related projects. Thanks again everyone. Now go rest your brain.